Every day, thousands of people apply to jobs through LinkedIn or through other job portals, and most of them get rejected. Not because they're not good engineers, not because they lack potential, but because they fail this 10-second test. What is it? Let's talk about it. Watch this video till the end to know the exact mistakes that you are making in your resume due to which it is not getting shortlisted and how can you avoid it. So hit the like button on this video and hit the subscribe button so that you never miss an update from me. Before we go ahead, let's talk about the two very important things. First thing is ATS. Whenever you apply to a job through a job portal, it does not go to a human directly. It gets shortlisted by a machine first. So you have to make your resume accordingly. Let's talk more about this in the video. Secondly, you have to remember that even if the ATS scan passes, even if your resume reaches to a human recruiter, you have to think from the recruiter's perspective. They might not have enough time to go through every single resume deeply. They might not spend hours on a single resume because they might be getting tens or hundreds of resumes. So your resume should make a good impression in the first 10 seconds, and this is what I call the first 10-second test. So let's get started with exact mistakes that you are making in your resume. Mistake number one, your resume is too generic. You make one resume and apply for 1,000 companies. Well, my friend, you're going to get rejected from 1,000 companies. Think from the recruiter's perspective. Every recruiter is looking for a specific need and a specific role, and you are the one who has to provide that. So your resume should not look like, I am talented, I am hardworking, and I know React.js, and I have made Android apps in past, blah, blah, blah. If you're doing that, congratulations. Your resume looks like exactly like 1,000 other resumes which are not going to make an impact. So what should you do? Remember these three things. Mention numbers, mention the impact, and mention the skills and the knowledge used. For example, let's take a look at two resumes. Which one will you select? Resume 1 says, I built a finance tracking dashboard for a company using React.js. That's it. Resume 2, using React.js, I built a finance tracking dashboard for my company which saved $200 in my org as I used AI to build a dashboard which is now being used internally by, let's say, 50,000 employees to track their finances and their reimbursements. Makes an impact, talks about numbers, the impact, and the skills used as well, and shows how good of a work you did. Mistake number 2, your projects look exactly like a tutorial project. You add in your resume the to-do list that you built from the Udemy project that you are watching. Well, the project itself is not the problem, because if you are a student, if you did not do internships in past, it is fine. The problem is how you present it. If you are a student especially, if you don't have any real world experience, you still need to show how did you solve a real world project. So instead of saying I built a to-do application, you can say something like, you can actually first release your application to the Play Store or the App Store, get some downloads, get some real world usage, and you can mention that I built a productivity app that is being used by 1,000 people daily. Simple, shows the impact. Mistake number 3, your resume is too hard to scan. Remember at the start of the video I was talking about ATS, the applicant tracking system, the automated algorithm or the machine which is scanning your resume instead of a human recruiter? Well, you have to make sure that the machine thinks your resume is good. And if you're doing the following mistakes, your resume is going to get rejected not by a human but by a machine. So don't add big fonts, don't add huge paragraphs, don't add too many colors or too many photos or infographics to your resume. ATS will find it difficult to scan. So you have to remember to provide clear sections and make your resume ATS friendly. Well, that's not that difficult. You can easily Google or you can search on the internet on some templates, some ATS friendly resume templates. It's going to look very simple. It should have some clear sections, probably starting with some of your bio, some of your about section, then directly jumping onto the experience, because experience matters the most. Then you can have the skills, then you can have your projects, then you can have your education as well, and a few other sections as and if you need. Mistake number 4, you are not mentioning the proof of skills. Well, if you are just mentioning your skills like JavaScript, React.js, front-end web development, HTML and CSS, well, you are not giving the recruiter the proof of skills. Instead of just mentioning your skills, yes, definitely there should be a skills section, but your experiences or your project section should be a proof of the skills, and you have to make sure that the skills are aligned to what the job description says. This is a very important thing. So if the job description is looking for an Android developer and you have no proof of skills for Android or Java, that's not good. So you have to make sure that your project sections and if possible your experience section aligns with what the job description says, what the recruiter is looking for, and is a good enough proof of your skills. So instead of just mentioning JavaScript in your projects, you have to mention things like you've built a weather tracking system through JavaScript. It is being used by 100,000 users daily, and it got awarded, blah blah blah, whatever. These are just some examples. Now, in the next mistake, I'm going to cover 2 mistakes in a single point. The mistake number 5 is incorrect ordering of the sections and weak descriptions in especially the projects section. Let's go through it one by one. The first one is incorrect order of sections. See, I see a lot of people putting education section at the start of their resume. Well, if your education is not something that is exceptionally different than others, why would you place it at the top of your resume? Just think about it. If you're applying for a computer science job or a software engineering job and you have done a BTech in computer science, congratulations. Everyone else applying to the job has done the same as well. So why should it be at the top? Think from the recruiter's perspective. The recruiter does not have enough time to go through each and every section deeply in your resume. So mention, probably, if unless and until you have done a PhD or something very huge, mention the education section at the last. Well, yes, you might be a 10-pointer or an awardee in your school or college, but still it can come at the last, because what matters more is your real world experience. Experience section at the top and education at the bottom. Second mistake, weak project description. Weak description in each section, and especially the project section. In the project, this is very, very important, especially for the students, because a lot of times students don't have real world experience. So how do they get their first internship or the first job? Through projects. And in the projects, if you are just writing a to-do list application or a weather tracking system or a stock market tracking application, no, that's not going to make the cut. You have to mention the real world problem that you solved, what technology or what skill you used to solve it, and how did you solve it. Mention the description of your project, not in huge paragraphs, in a concise way, but in a way that makes impact. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to make sure you don't miss another update from me. And if you want me to make a detailed video, probably a 1-hour live masterclass on how to build a rock solid resume, please mention resume in comments, and I will see that as an indication that you need a bigger video.